Welcome to Exceptional Leadership. I'm your host, Anita Brooks. Though my focus is primarily pointed to leadership at an organizational level, let me assure you, most of what I share will translate to almost any aspect of life. Just tweak the info to fit your leadership role. Because whether you approach my content as a corporate leader, middle manager, small business owner, entrepreneur, or as a family member or friend, you are influencing someone. The question is, are you influencing well, exceptionally well? So let's take courage, exercise wisdom, and humbly invest in the people we are called to influence. Join me on a quest, not for perfection, but absolutely for exceptional leadership. You've heard me talk about the fact that we all lead someone, and it's not necessarily in a formal leadership position in the workplace, but oftentimes it's as we go about our daily business. Yet I don't think we often pay close enough attention to that. And so our guest today is going to join me in a conversation, and I want to talk about some common questions that people ask her to help them with and how that can translate into mentoring and leading people in our lives. Some of this obviously will easily parlay into what happens at work, but maybe some of it's going to be more important to you at home or in some of your friendships or maybe volunteer work or places that you're involved in things in the community. But wherever that is, I just want you to really take to heart some of these common issues that people deal with because you may have that opportunity to lead someone exceptionally well just by listening to a question that they're asking and really paying close attention to how you respond to that. So today, let's welcome Stephanie. Is it Pavlantos? Did I pronounce that?
Pavlantos. That's correct.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show, Stephanie. I'm so excited you're here.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here too.
Awesome. So I know that you are an author, a Bible study teacher, you're a speaker, you have a blog, and I'll just say right now, her blog is stephaniepavlantos.com. But you are leading in a lot of ways because you're influencing people through the language, the spoken language, the written language, and through teaching and training. And so
that's right.
Through that, I would imagine you start to see a pattern of questions that people have. And I'd love for you to share what some of those are, Stephanie, and then let's talk about that in some of your responses.
Sure. Can I back up a little because I realized that what in my growth from college on into motherhood and church and leadership, the one thing that the Lord put in me was the ability and the desire to teach. It was a strong desire that I didn't even know I had at first. And it was a professor in college that asked me, you need to go into teaching, or basically said to me, why aren't you? And I said, teaching, who wants to teach? That's, doesn't pay anything. That's not at all what I wanted to do. But the Lord has used that gifting throughout my life, whether it was because I actually ended up teaching my own children in homeschooling and then teaching other people's children through homeschooling them and helping with those subjects in science and the harder subjects that parents didn't feel qualified to teach, and saw how even these high schoolers would come and confide in me and ask questions and want to understand more. And I taught everything from basically biology to anatomy and health. And it just started opening my eyes to their world being open and things that they didn't know, suddenly seeing their faces like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that. And then teaching Bible studies and teaching and continuing the health, because from one thing, going from health just in a physiology kind of way to a spiritual kind of way. And watching people again, watching their eyes just like light up, like, I've never heard that before. No one's ever told me that. And so I realized the impact that words have and teaching has, because we don't realize the gift, but also the burden of teaching. So there's a high price. There's you're kept to a high level. The bar is high for those of us who teach. And so it was very eye-opening in that way. So I was getting questions in high school, about, well, why isn't this good for me? Why shouldn't, even like when I would teach something about not having sex before marriage, or what it meant in a deeper level, a sexual relationship. I was very open about these things, and my students would be like, but how does this affect us? Why does it matter? And getting to dig deeper into not only how it affects our bodies and our emotions and our relationships with people, but also how it affects us spiritually. And then just health. Go ahead.
Well, and so I was going to ask, so in my experience as a business coach, learners are leaders and they are also teachers. They may not view themselves that way, but they are teachers. So as I'm listening to you talk about the impact of words, how is that relevant to someone in a leadership position, the impact of those words?
I've had good bosses and I've had bad bosses. The bad supervisors I've had in my life were condescending, were sharp with their words, maybe even name calling. The best boss I ever had asked me questions, said, how do you feel about this? Why do you think that? Let's see if I can help you understand my point better. Why don't I help you? They came alongside. There was no condemnation, no being made to feel less than, but you were built up and you were helped in the areas you didn't understand. I did more for my confidence than anything.
Sure. And I think you hit on a point there, and that is that anytime we need to train or teach someone, we always will get more engagement from them if we're asking questions and drawing answers out of them versus speaking at them or over them.
Exactly. Even in students, even in teaching, those younger than you or those less knowledgeable in whatever way, when they fail, I certainly have had students who failed a test or failed a project. And my way was allowing them to correct it, allowing them to go back and find out what they did wrong, and then come beside them when they didn't understand and explain their mistakes. I've had students who started out with F's in the class go on to get A's because they were given the time